crafters, this is Crafty Sabby, and I'm here today to share a tutorial with you. On my last video I made some of these cards with the origami dress form on the front. I've had a couple requests from some lovely ladies to do a tutorial, so that's what we're going to do today. So what you're going to need is a piece of really thin paper, even copy paper at this point would be okay. To fold your first dress form, I just found it a little bit easier to manipulate the copy paper or something really light. And you're also going to want to cut it down to about 6 by 6, just because it makes folding also a little easier for the first time. Once you get going, then you can make them in, whatever paper you want to use or whatever size. So for now, we're going to do 6 by 6 on some really thin paper or copy paper. So the first thing that we're going to do is take the paper and sort of fold it in on itself. At this point, most of the other videos that I have seen would put a crease down the side. I eliminate that crease because I don't like to see it on my dress form at the front. It's fine if you do that. I just am a little picky and I didn't like the crease down the front. It doesn't change anything in the folding of the dress, and I don't think it makes it any more difficult either. So I fold it like this, and I just pinch the top here to make a little tiny crease. And then on the other side, I do the same thing. Make a little tiny pinch with your finger and your thumb, and then you're left with 2 little pinch marks, one on either side. At this point, I like to take my pencil and I put a little tick mark inside that crease on this side and on this side. So both sides. Just makes it easier to find afterward. So now I'm going to flip my paper back over, and I'm going to roll the 2 edges to meet up with the 2 tick marks that we've made here. So I take it and I roll it towards the center. You want to take some care in matching up the lines perfectly, nice and flat, and creasing everything nice and tight, because sometimes paper has a weird way of sort of getting wonky when you start folding it all up, and at the end it just doesn't look right. So you'll do the same thing. You'll roll this in to meet up with the center, making a nice tight crease. So that's what we have so far. So you open it up and you take that valley that you, or sorry, not the valley, the peak that you just made, and you pinch it, and you're going to roll it towards those 2 tick marks that you made there, or the center line. So you roll it up, meeting up to it, nice and straight, and push down. You'll turn this over and do the same thing. You'll grab that peak and you'll roll it to meet up with that center fold that you just made, and push down. Okay. So then at this point, I like to, with my thumbs at the front, I sort of find the middle. So if this is 6, you kind of want to find where 3 is. More or less, doesn't have to be perfect. I put my thumbs there, and I put my fingers on top. I use the other 2 fingers at the back because you're going to be applying a little bit of pressure with those. So with my thumbs and my fingers, like I said, I sort of find that middle point. Even if you folded it over, you could still find the center. So I kind of find the middle, and I start making a little crease. See how I'm pushing down like that? Just bending it. So then with my thumbs, I try to roll the paper up over my 2 fingers. I'm just pushing the paper up so that it kind of goes over my fingers. What I'm creating is this little gully here, if you can see it right here. So I'm just pushing it up. So once I'm satisfied that I've, got about maybe 1.25 inches in there, I push it down and fold. I'll try to show you that explain a little bit better now. So this is kind of what I have. This is what I mean. I have about 1.25 inches between the two folds that I just created. So with my thumbs and my fingers, I just found the center point. I sort of pushed the paper up over my fingers, creating that little gully, and I pushed down. Probably what you could have done, if you didn't understand that, is at this, when we were at this point here, you could turn this over and fold this right in half and make your crease there. And then you could measure with your ruler from that fold 1.25 inches up, find the tick mark, and then fold this back down on itself. That's another alternative if you didn't understand what I just said, because I'm not sure I understand what I just said. But anyways, so this is what we have, okay? So now we want to work on the collar. This is the top of your dress. This is the skirt portion of your dress. So here, you'll take one of these little flaps, and you can see that when you pull it, it will only go so far, up to that little fold there. So you want to pull that little tab back, and you also want to see if you pull it, it'll go all the way to sort of the waist of your dress. You don't want that. You only want to pull it so that it goes halfway between the top and the waist. So I pull this little tab back up to that crease and sort of halfway, creating a little flap, like a little lapel. See, I only went halfway here. Okay, so do the same thing with the other side. I pull this back to as far as it'll go here and meet it up evenly with the other lapel that I made, and push back. So you have this. See, it only went halfway. Okay, so then you'll pop those back up, because it's not staying like that, and you'll flip it over. At this point, I like to put my thumb and my finger inside, underneath those little wings there, so under there, and with my other finger, I go inside that little pocket. This is where you're going to have to manipulate the paper a little bit to do what you want it to. So I squeeze here and I pull back. So what you're trying to do is, you're going to have to play with it, like I said. What you're trying to do is pull back as far as those crease marks that you just made will allow you to go. No more, no less. So you're going to have to play with it and pull it back as far as those little crease marks that you made at the front will allow you to go, and pulling. So you want to make sure that everything is sitting flat once you've got it pulled back. Okay, you don't want to stretch anything, or you just want everything to fall into place and push down. Just like that. So quickly again, you had this. I just put my fingers in there. With my other finger, I pull back. It'll be a little bit easier now. You want to pull it back as far as those crease marks that you made here and here. Pull back and press down. So this is what you have. No flaps at the front, everything's at the back now. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the front, and we're going to work on the skirt a little bit. You take these little panels, take one of these little panels and pull gently to reveal the inside of the dress. However much you want. I just like a little bit there to show. So as you're pulling, you can see how it wants to pull back. I just gently with my finger push down a little bit. If you push down all the way and flatten it, it'll be a flat card. It won't have like a 3D effect, which is fine too, great for mailing. This way it just looks a little bit more 3D. So I pull it back a little bit. I apply a little bit of pressure just to kind of keep the place. And if you look from the side, when you do that, you kind of get this little, like a little gap here happening, a little pocket. what you're going to want to do there is just, it's like you need another hand. Just push it down. Manipulate it so that you're sort of creating a new crease line there, because now you've pulled it. You want to create a new crease line there. So I'll show you again over here. You pull that, the dress part here, and you pull it back however much you want. So you sort of want it to be now even with the other side. So about there. Hold it down with my finger and apply a little bit of pressure on it just to sort of keep it open. Okay, and so when you're doing that, again, you're creating this little pocket here. So with that, you just want to press down with your finger. Okay, so now you have this. Okay, so we're almost there. So if you turn it back over now, if you see this line right here, we're going to fold it on itself like this to be flush with this line that's here. Okay, so you just take that whole thing and you fold it so that it's flush with that center there. Okay, so now what you want to do is to, continue on with that sort of 3D effect. You want to push down on this little part here, and as you go down, you want it to taper so that it's a little thinner here. And so I apply a little bit of pressure. I don't push it all the way down because I don't want it completely flat. This will be the place where you put some double-sided tape or adhesive so that you could stick it to a card base or whatever it is that you want to use this for. So I'll show you again on this side. We just want this little tab here, this to be flush with this right here. So you fold it over, just like that. I just like to put my finger in there. So you've got that little pocket happening again. You just want to push down a little bit so that you get that place for your double-sided tape. So that's it. So now the sleeves, really quick, they want to just be folded in. You can see they're naturally doing it. You just push down on those. Okay? So now what you want to do is you want to take one of those flaps from the sleeves and you want to pull the tab back as far as it'll go to that little shoulder there, and as far as it'll allow you to pull it towards the waist. So however much you can pull it down is what you want to do. Fold it on itself and push down. So again, here you take the little flap up right up to the corner and as far down as it'll allow you to go. Just like that. And push down. And that's your dress. You just created the sleeves. And there you go. So the only other thing I like to do at this point, just to kind of keep everything together, is I just grab a piece of Scotch tape. And this is optional, you don't have to, but I just kind of like to keep things down with a piece of tape. There. And that's it. So you're ready to adhere to a card or whatever it is that you want to put it on, just like I did here. So I adhered, double-sided tape, a strip along here and here, and then also don't forget to put one along the bottom because that's this part here, so you want it to be nice and flat. And we've, again, avoided that line down the center like I said. If you have any pencil marks that show, you can just erase them. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it wasn't too difficult to follow. If you have any questions, just let me know. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.